Hello everyone, my name is David Wing, and today in this video I will walk us through a detailed analysis of malware sample number one for this lab. So I will be showing we will be running the malware inside our Windows 11 64-bit VM on a MacBook system, and then I will also going to show you the on the right side is basically the full detail report that was conducted earlier, but this video is gonna show like a demo of like to show like what has been done according to the report also. So when we open the file explorer, there should be a malware symbol one already in there. As you can see, we have malware symbol one, and the malware symbol one is actually called a budget report, and it appears to be like a PDF file. However, if we click on the properties of the file, we will see that Windows recognize it as a. We will see that. Wait, click on this file and property. Let's see. Show more option. Oh, sorry. So if we click on this and hit property, you will see that Windows, the machine actually get recognized as an application, which is an exe file instead, and which showing that this file might be disguised as a PDF, but in reality, it's actually just a PDF file. And the first thing we're gonna do is static analysis with this file is by we will use virus total. So open up virus total. We can go ahead open virus total, and then we will drag and drop the file right to it. Okay. It's Windows VM. So drag and drop, and the result of virus total showing us that then okay, here I hate Windows. Sorry, I'm a Mac user, but anyway, the result showing us that in summary there are 56 out of 72 antivirus engine flagging the file as malicious. If we click on detection, we can see that majority of the threat category, but the antivirus signature show as this a Trojan and a worm. And if we keep on scrolling, we can see we mostly see it's a Trojan. A lot flag them as Trojans. There's one antivirus from Elastic flags like malicious with a high confidence, and if we keep scrolling down, we can see the malware mostly being given a signature as a Trojan. And in order to see the hash of the file, we can see we can click on details, and VirusTool will show us the MD5 checksum and also SHA-1 and then SHA-2 hash. And if we look at the magic, we can see the file type is actually indeed Windows 32 exe, and this line right here showing us it is execute with C++ to show that the file was actually was written in C, and the person of this MS Visual C was showing us that the file is not packed at all. So now we know that this file is not packed. So we can actually go ahead and use string in order to a PE view to perform a further static analysis on the file. And down in the history tab, we see the creation time. The file was in October 14, 1998 at this specific time. And then the file was first seen in a while in April 23rd, 2021, and the first submissions to VirusTotal for scan was back in 2017 on January of 28th. And in this section, basically showing all the aliases name that the file can be under. As you can see, it come under the name budget report exe is also coming to a different names like app service exe, which which is actually a legitimate exe, and also this ISEXE spoon threshold MT2. So this are giving her a hint that the file is indeed a Trojan. It might gonna give us a hint that when we execute a file, it will actually might gonna change itself to null locations and change its own name to like some legitimate exe in the system like that. So the only way for us to check if the exe file, like for example, Tray, is basically an exe file running for AppDoor, but the file, the Trojan can disguise itself at that specific file. And then if we keep going down, it tells us that the specific target machine that this file designed for is Intel. And again, the compilation time is basically creation time. And down here, we can see a list of up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different import. And each import have their own specific import function that VirusTotal detected. And again, since this file is not packed, that's the reason why we was able to see a lot of import coming out from the file like that. I will go in detail and explain like what those import are to do, which specific function we're gonna focus on. But back to the lab report. Apparently, I did take a note about the research about the import functions. So based on the analysis, based on the import, a quick research showing that the import, sorry, let me collapse all of this. So the import ADV API 32.dll is actually a verified Microsoft DLL designed to provide a stable and secure environment for a software to run on Windows. It acts like a bridge between the hardware and the software and responsible for memory management, input and output operation, process management, and error handling to ensure the proper functioning and linking up the Windows and the application they're using it. The import kernel 32DLL, that was actually import kernel 32DLL, I'm sorry. The advanced one is basically known as an advanced Windows 32 based API, and it's a verified Microsoft DLL designed to perform like advanced functionality accessing and manipulating Windows registry, restarting and shutting down system, stopping and creating Windows servers. And the MSVCR is basically a Microsoft C runtime library, and the shell 32 is being used to provide necessary functions and resources to perform a Windows shell execution. User 32 DLL is mostly handling GUI, which is the graphic user interface handling, like the keyboard input and mouse. Well, WinNet DLL is for Windows Internet API for Internet access like protocol like HTTP and FTP, and WS232 is a verified Microsoft DLL designed to provide Windows Socket API version 2 for network programming. So this basically enabled malware to create socket and sending receiving data over the network as well as managing the network application. So since we know that the file is not packed, we can go ahead and use string to even further analyze more about the file. So to do that, I'm gonna open up command prompt, and we'll be running as an administrator. Yes. So I have string installed in my system, but what we'll do is I'm gonna cd to the directory where I have that, and then cd user, cd David, and then cd down low, cd malware, and then cd malware sim, and then you should see, yep. So if I do strings and then budget report exe, what it would do is it's gonna output all the ASCII strings that you can see from the program. And as you see, there is so much. There's a lot of like ASCII string being shown, and when we keep going, as we keep scrolling, we can actually find a specific registry key that's very interesting. For example, in my report earlier, I found a registry key called software. So if I keep going, so as we can see, software. Let's see. It's a lot of junk, right? Yeah, but there will be a registry key that you can find from this. Not there. And you can see Aquatray, and then a bunch of name that's showing, and also there. Okay, we can just so even though I didn't find that, but we actually like see this specific registry key core system main. Go up here. Go up registry key. Where is that? Okay, there you go. The registry key software. So what this registry key do basically, it's just returning the the current running OS versions. So basically, it's the standard key to get information about an operating system. And in the context of the malicious program, like we can assume that the device OS version would be an information that the malware need as a reconnaissance to like, ensure it can execute its malicious behavior properly, or making decision of how it's gonna proceed to execute based on the host OS version. And then if we keep going up, we can see another two interesting registry key right here. One is system, and you see firewall policy. And this what this registry key basically do is basically add and allow list applications to the Windows firewall policies, and to allow, in the context, it can allow the exe to add itself to evade firewall detection and potential malicious C2 server that it may interact it with to ensure the communication is not being blocked. And then, interestingly, we can see another system, another registry right here, which is a key list of like all the physical disk drive and storage devices that connect to the system, and an advanced malware, it could use this registry key to basically check if it is being executed on a VM, so that the malware can know to behave differently and to not allow like for an accurate analysis for the malware reverse engineer. And then if we scroll up a little bit up here, we can see some string and showing popular internet browser like the Windows. And again, you can see a bunch of other name that the file can be taken, like msconfig auto runs, and then we go down here. We see a net list of like Google Chrome, Firefox, Opera, Internet Explorer, and what it did is it's based like this means that the exe can like it would either utilize one of the browser to access the internet. And speaking of the internet access, we should be expect to see the IP address information within the string. However, earlier when I do a quick scan through for a specific IP address pattern, I cannot see any of them. So because of that, we cannot find our specific network indicator from compromise or the C2 server. But moving on, since you will see like using string is useful, but the output can be very long and tedious. So with that being said, there's another tool that would be better for us to analyze the import table from the malware. So the tool is called PEvil. And I forgot to show PEID. So we can use PEID to also check if the file is packed or not too. And if I drag and drop in here, you can see there's no known packet program being detected from PEID, but that's just like another step for us to check if the file is packed or not. And then now we're gonna open PEvil. So PEvil, and now we do is we're gonna drag and drop the file. Okay, drag and drop the malware into it. And for us to see the directory, the import table section, it will be in the .idata. And if we click on the name table, now we can see a much organized version of like the detail, like import DLL and the import function associated with DLL that the malicious program used. So from the top, we know earlier we know that this DLLs enable a lot of like advanced functionality like registry key manipulation, and as we can see from the import table, we see the import function from like this DLL is allowing the malware to be able to create, delete, and modify with the registry key. It's also can looking up for like privilege value and across the system and alter the kernel object security right here. And then we scrolling down, we can see the import functions from kernel 32 DLL is allow the program to do a lot of like action on file system, like create a file, delete file, the first file, basically some file manipulation. It can also create a snapshot and create another process, spawning a new process running on it. And then it can also get like a module, like getting the file name on the system, getting the system info, and then it can load more on the extra DLL import, and then open a mutex, and then write to a file, and then the import from MSVC is basically an import for like C file like functionality. So all of this down here is just to enable all this basically a C function. So that's why the file using this to like get out the C function for it to be able to execute. And then the import function to execute is from this DLL is for the file to like have the functionality to perform a shell execution, and then for user it's for all like GUI elements like empty clipboard. So this showing that the file can actually get access to the clipboard. So that can be act as a potential spyware, but we cannot show until we verify by dynamic analysis yet. But this clue card showing us that the file can go to the clipboard. And then this is for Windows. This is for the internet connection, and we can see it have the ability to close the socket and also get a host by the name to like create a socket to connect to it. So in summary of the stack analysis, we know that this exe program is back as a Trojan, and it has capability to manipulate the file system, registry key, and connecting to the internet. So the program is not packed. So to know deeper about a malware behavior, we now proceed with the dynamic analysis. So first of all, we will use RegShot tool to analyze any registry key change and Wireshark to capture the network traffic and process process exploit to watch over the program process. So we will be running the malware basic 3 times. So the first one we're gonna do is we're gonna open RegShot, and then we will be taking the first shot, the clean state of the VM before the malware being run. And this might gonna take some time. So from my previous run, it's basically showing that there we have 381,112 registry keywords. Like there was a lot of changes. So we will be expecting the number will be might be different for this second run, but it should be very, very huge. So we're gonna wait. In the meantime, I will get the budget report ready. Okay, so I have collect up to 35,213 keys. See, and now we're gonna let the malware run, and we're gonna run it as administrator so we can capture as much as we can. And of course, we don't flag it malicious, but we're gonna go ahead and hit run anyway. So we're gonna now run the malware inside our VM, and as you see after we run the malicious file, interestingly, we can see now the file is gone. But it may look like it's gone, but later on I will show you that the file actually create a copy of itself somewhere in a superhidden folder to maintain persistent. But we're gonna let it run for a couple of times to let it allow to run some. And then what we do is, so let's get it run. Now, after let the malware run for a couple seconds or so, we're gonna now take a second shot to compare any registry key that it been modified after the run. And in fact, yeah, let's just wait. As you can see, the second shots take quite a long time too, which showing us that there is a lot of new registry key just being created. And now we're gonna compare to see the results. And now as we have the result, we can now look at deeper. And as we see, there is one key deleted. Okay. So this specific run is completely different than the one I have earlier. This is interesting. So we can see a specific key at root WMI was deleted, and a new key which for Windows error reporting was add, and then there's one new value deleted, which is the process ID 204. This shows that a process ID of 204 was deleted. And then if we go down, we can see a value was added for a registry key called run1. And as you can see, there is a new directory was created at this path in the app data roaming and 1264, and interestingly we see app services.exe. if you recall earlier, virus total showing that this file can also take it in a different name. So with that being said, we're gonna also the giveaway for us is also right here. See, we see the star right behind this. This is basically a hidden folder. So this basically showing us that this will be a hidden folder. So for us to actually really see the file, we will want to go to. The way we do is we open the. Since we cannot even go to super protected. So let's see. Let's revert the malware to. Let's revert the malware to remote machine to our initial state. So restore. So we're gonna go. This time we're gonna do analysis, but from another way. We're gonna run with Wireshark instead. So now we open. We start the process again. So now we restore it back to the clean state before we run the malware. But now the second route, we're gonna open up Wireshark so we know that the malware is communicating with the network. And then we do the background is we're gonna hit Ethernet. As you can see, there's a lot of application running in the background. But this demo is just gonna show you that using Wireshark analysis actually is very feasible because in the string, from our analysis, from our static analysis, we didn't even learn the specific IP address that to be targeted on. So now I'm gonna open the malware again. It should be in here. And this time I will make sure I enable options, and then the view will be show, and then right here it will hide. Yes, and apply. Now we should be able to see all the hidden folder because we did not run the malware yet. But what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go to download and then run the malware second time. But so open malware. Malware 2. Symbol. And we're gonna be running as administrator. Run this program as an admin. What we do is we're gonna wait for Windows to get done. We're gonna restart again because there's so many. Supposed to get rich. We'll be running, and there's already an error trying to run it. So the VM is trying to run. Okay. Let's try one more time. Oh. Okay. Okay, so smart screen can reach. That means we can go at our board. Let's just. But basically, I want to show you like from the report itself. With the security is detecting that, but I disabled it. But from the report, basically, what I did, I ran the Wireshark capture. That's the executive process. But I checked for all the IP address, like what's like who is, and most of them showing that there's no side malicious. Like C2 server as well, the domain name that it's associated with. So basically, this showing us like Wireshark doesn't really give any good information from the analysis, and what the so yeah, so Wireshark doesn't really give us any good information for analysis. So because of that, we're just gonna go ahead and go ahead and execute. Let's restore it again and run one more time. But this time we're gonna use a process monitor in the background to monitor the malware. And we'll start. Alright, so now we're gonna open Proxmon. And what we do is we're gonna run it as an admin. Proxmon in the background. And this we're actually gonna okay, there's something. Alright. So now I have process monitor running as an administrator. What we do is gonna open up the malware. Down low. And then what we do is a simple one. And we're gonna go ahead and run. And we'll say yes. And as you see, Malware1 is being running. And the process modes do capture all the process. And by analyzing through it, step by step, we see the path, the PDF file being loaded, process being start, and it's using WILE64. This DLL is basically a DLL to bridge between a 32-bit application to run compatible with 64-bit. And again, we see it's called the image to look for the current version running on it. And based on it, this is where it begin to call registry key to call the WILE64 DLL. And yes, and as we keep going down, we can see that it's open a lot of registry key right now. And interestingly, we will keep going down. We see create files. It created not a file basically down there. It's constantly creating the file, and now it's beginning to load all the DLL from the import that we analyzed earlier. And as we keep going down, we see it's opening our registry key. Then keep going until we find an interesting for that I discovered from early analysis. Let's keep going. There should be where it's gonna create. Now it's called only. Okay. File. Now it's called a shell registry key to access the shell folder. And what your report. Apparently we see ICMD create file DML. This for ICMP analysis. But let's keep going down. Okay, now we read all this. And there should, okay. What I would do now, now we see. So now we see it create a new folder. And the folder is 126 something, act roaming and app data. And so within a folder, it create an uncap exe, which is different than last time we run. And we keep repeating. Now it's open a WinSock registry key to call internet access right there. Activate internet control. And it will locate the file though. So it will open our Process Explorer, and now I'm changing my options to changing the view this time to show hidden file, and also unhide this. Yes. Now apply. Now hit OK. Now I go to that path. See user David, and again this is okay. Oh, because already we know the malware keep on not allow us. Should be show and apply. Okay. Wait. Show option. Show. Apply. Cancel. Okay. Now I go app data. In local. It's not local. So in roaming, we see a hidden folder 1264. So we click on it. Now we see another exe file. So interestingly, if I go to virus total again, and comparing that file, let's wait for the internet. Okay, virus total, and now we analyze this same file again. There will be something interesting. As we can see, it's basically the same malicious file that the hash. By checking that, this is the same thing as budget report number 1. So this showing that budget number 1 report is basically copying itself to another hidden folder inside app data, and it changed its name to be a different name, like uncave. And if we search up uncave, like unsafe app.exe, we found that we by checking it for it's actually a genuine Windows component that allow application to communicate. And again, go back to virus though. The budget report can be in different name. Like the first one we see is it names it app service. Now change to be another one. So the more we keep running, the more we're gonna see it keep on changing itself to be like add tray, exe, bcu, which is basically a real genuine Microsoft service. And this basically concluding us that the antivirus engine that flagged us as a Trojan was actually correct. And in my report, I like earlier, like from the previous, yes, like when I run the malware during my time of running the report, it put the name as CRSS instead. But as you keep on rerunning the malware, it will keep on generating a different name on it. And so basically, it's confirmed that the malware is creating alternate file of itself in the different name, and it's hiding the super protected super hidden folder. And then this basically finalizes a conclusion that like this budget report exe is actually indeed a Trojan program that may copy itself to like a super secret hidden directory disguised different legitimate exe. And another so to further analyze our program, there's another website that's very it's basically an online sandbox, and it's a free professional sandbox tools being used by a lot of professional malware analysis. So before I run that, I will go ahead and close this this VM and restore it back to the original clean state. And then now hit start again. And then let's wait for Windows to finish booting up and connect to internet. So we're gonna upload the malware straight to the website. So I'm gonna be going to https hybridanalysis.com. So it's basically an online sandbox, and what I will do is I will drag and drop the malware file right into it. So download. Drag and drop. And then we're gonna be agreed with the thing, and then do the captcha test and verify. And now, by hitting continue, the sandbox will be analyzed, and we will be running on Windows 11 64-bit, and we're going to generate a public report. And now the result of the report showing that a threat scope 100 out of 100 was scored for the malicious activity, and this file is actually being labeled as generic. And it have a detection by AV antivirus engine of 83%. And if we click on this, explore more, what is this? A quick search of generic. And what it is basically a variant of a Trojan. It's basically a variant of a Trojan, so the malware is being considered as a Trojan. And if we go down here's basically the antivirus. The engine being used to scan is CrowdStrike Falcon, which use static analysis and also machine learning based and Meta Defender. And the result from CrowdStrike Falcon show that detect 100% malicious. For the Meta Defender, only 18 out of 27 detect as malicious. And we can click more on detail. This will show all the anti-malware, all the anti-malware and sandbox that being shown to run the malware on the sandbox analysis. And we can also see that the malware being run on not just Windows 11 but also Windows 7, 32-bit, Windows 10, and all the different OS version all shows malicious. And if we want to click more, like view more detail, we just simply click on the VM itself, and it will open another tab. And you can see like malicious score is different for different VM that you want to do. So, and for example, if I select Windows 64-bit again, we can see there it's labeled indicator, and basically it's changing file extension to appear in the Explorer. As we can see, the details say it's changing using hidden key, as we can see earlier, to change the file name and the appearance, and then it create a fake process. For example, the app data that we see earlier from SMSSEXE, basically the hidden process that we just uncover from that hidden folder it create. But this time, again, it's running as another exe, but it's fake one. And then create process suspended mode, basically called create process with permitted attempt. And then process has a system process name, but it's not located in the Windows subdirectory. So it called for the newly fake process exe. It copied itself to the hidden process in a different way, and then try to hide a track of download from the internet. And then if we can keep going, like this is showing more detailed analysis like of CrowdStrike scanning, but also it's gonna show all the YADA router. You can so go ahead and compare. And then for network base, for the sake of like time, I want to try to go like basically read, like this is basically the summary. the summary of the whole analysis. And apparently we see the network behavior. We can see the malware is communicate with this specific domain, and then the two IP address server that it try to reach, which is belong to European Union. And that is basically the conclusions of our malware number one. We go through statically analyze and dynamically analyze using so many different tools, and the details being written in the report. So like as you read the report, will be much more detailed than just the video that I'm showing. But basically, conclusion is the Malware1 is a malicious Trojan where it will hide itself in another hidden folder, and it's create like a registry key to allow to up and running, and it's disguised itself as a legitimate exe file when in fact it's actually not it's actually not a not a legitimate one. And